Hello everyone, I'm putting this up here just to show YouTube that I am operating within the guidelines of fair use, which allows to use segments of material I do not own the rights for in order to criticize and express an opinion. Just as any democratic, free speech supporting platform would do. I'm not going to make any money out of this, and everything I upload here will be for the sole purpose of reviewing, critique, and expressing opinions about what's going on and what went on the Fully Living. So this video is going to take a look at the dynamics and behaviors during a family trip to Castillo that took place, I think, on the 21st of September 2022, but was uploaded just some time ago, so about 3 months later. And I'm going to start with a sentence that Hadar says. He says that Andrea has always wanted a Moet. And I think this is said at the beginning of the video, and already, for me, that's a big red light. Why would a woman want a Moet around her house? And I think what we're going to see in this video is how this extreme anxiety, negative thinking, neurotic thoughts that are intrusive into every moment, how they are affecting the family, the children, whose mind is very susceptible to all your messages. And Andrea, if you are watching this video, I want you to know that I believe that you are suffering as well. And of course, I am not capable of diagnosing anyone. It is not why I'm here. I'm not doing that at all. All I can say is, from my personal point of view, my opinion, it seems throughout the video and many, many other videos, it seems to me like Andrea is suffering from anxiety. She herself said that she has social anxiety, but I'm talking about a way of thinking that is catastrophic, that sees disasters everywhere it goes, sees catastrophic events all the time occurring in their mind, right? It's not really happening. And this fear and anxiety and neurotic way of thinking is horrible because it controls one's life, and you start making decisions based on those fears instead of on logic. And the sad thing here is that not only is she suffering, but this is rubbing off on the children who have no defense against this mindset. And that is the problem.
We don't get up here.
Don't even
don't
put
do
your
that.
foot on there. Because the heights are very deadly.
Yeah, we don't
It
do
will
that.
kill you.
You see how
So Raphael leans his foot on the wall and immediately gets told that heights will kill you and they are deadly. And Hadar in the background enforces this by saying, yes, yes, we do not do that. But I'm thinking, isn't that a little bit overreacting with the fear? Green, yellow, that is the tip of his foot. So this is where his foot was located when he was told by both his parents that heights can kill him and they are deadly. So maybe some people agree with this method of scaring. I don't know. I don't. I think he was never in any kind of danger in this situation. He just leaned his foot on the wall. And there was no need to put that fear into him. But funnily enough, the moment they say that heights are deadly and can kill him, who gets up from the bench and goes to see from closer up what they're talking about? Abigail. And you know what? That is another reason for concern. And the next thing that happens is that Andrea says that she's afraid of heights, which is okay. many people are afraid of heights. That's fine. But I'm just trying to like follow the strain of thought that contains fears again and again. So after this, they walk into a darker room, and then she says she cannot see, can't see, repeats that about 4 or 5 times. That's still okay. But then this happens.
No, you don't. That's a prison. Don't touch the door. Actual prisoners were in there.
So after Andrea says that this was a prison cell and it's pitch black in there, she can't see anything, the camera is helping her to see. Of course, Abigail says, I want to go in there. And Andrea responds, and this is really, I don't even know how to talk about this, but she says, don't touch the door, don't touch anything. Actual prisoners were in there. Are you aware of when they were actually in there? Is there a reason not to touch the door? Is there going to be cooties there, or what? Or germs from the? I don't follow this fearful thought, but it doesn't matter because it's hers and it's in her mind, and it goes to show again that there is a lot of anxiety and neurotic thinking that really is, I'm sure, causing Andrea a lot of suffering. It is not easy to live when your mind keeps sending you signals of danger everywhere and every moment. It is a very difficult life, and I really, really hope that she gets help. She deserves better. Everyone deserves better than a life being trapped in your own mind. And it's anxious thoughts that actually limit your life and limit the way you can enjoy life in every aspect. But again, the issue here is the children. The issue here is having these young, very, very young people exposed to constant threatening thoughts, fearful thoughts. It is not something that they can protect themselves against, especially not Raphael. And it needs to be brought up because it is a form of doing wrong, in my opinion, especially if those kids are isolated and have no other ability to be exposed to outer or different types of thinking. This is the only thing, the only input that they get about the world. And I find it to be something that is quite horrible. The next thing that happens is that Andrea walks around. She tells us about the place. And actually, on a side note, I'm going to say that I'm very happy that they're taking the kids out to explore. They're taking them to see places. Raphael has just apparently learned about this fortress, so I think it's a great move. But here again, if we're looking at the frame of mind that we're talking about here, which is Andrea's, then she walks around, she looks and films the fortress from inside, those beds, and she says, this is what I want to live in. And she repeats that 3 times. And to me, that is something that strengthens my personal opinion, my personal perception of the situation that again, this woman wants to live in a fortress, safe and sound and afraid of anything from the outside. The outer world is a threatening, it's just a threatening thought to her. The Moet, the need to live in a fortress. I believe it is my belief that this is a sort of putting into words this deep, insecure feeling that she carries around and is instilling in the children either intentionally or not intentionally. It could be definitely not intentional, uh, but she needs to be aware of this. Now, I'm not saying the whole time was just about this. I'm just showing here a pattern. Hadar explains to Raphael things, and it's nice to hear that. And also that when Andrea gets interested in something, it's also nice to hear that. But I'm talking about a pattern, like an undercurrent that is constantly there. And the next thing that happens is that the kids walk up and down some steps. And Raphael says, "This feels so weird." Um, and then Abigail adds that it's very scary. The stairs are very scary to her. And then when they're coming down, Raphael actually says, "It feels so weird. It feels like I'm going up." And Abigail repeats and says, "It feels like I'm going up." Um, I was wondering, why would the kids say that this is so weird, that the steps are so weird? The steps are actually very regular steps. And then I realized, ever since they came to America, when did Raphael get a chance to walk upstairs or downstairs for that matter? Um, and Abigail, that's a whole different story. I mean, when she arrived in America, she was three, about 3 years old, maybe a bit less. Um, did she ever get to walk upstairs or steps and downstairs? Um, Anywhere outside? I mean, let's think about this, right? Because we're talking about uh, kids who are deprived from a lot of stimuli because they're isolated at home. They live, obviously, in a trailer, so how many steps do you need to use for that? They go out only with their parents. They're constantly under their supervision every second of the time. It seems like Abigail actually has physical difficulties walking up and down the stairs. She really does not know how to do it. So, I mean, am I imagining this, people? I mean, she she's 6 and she does not know how to go up or down stairs. And there's only one reason for that. It's not like she has some kind of disability. She isn't exposed. They're not exposed to stairs. And that's why it's so weird to them, in my opinion. Uh, the feeling of going downstairs. And they say it feels like we're going up. I mean, and that is because when we go up and downstairs, the fluids in our brain move in a certain way, and they're not used to it. They don't experience it, these kids. So they feel weird. They're a little bit, discombobulated. Where are we going? Are we moving up? Are we moving down? I mean, that is, at least is what I am understanding from this conversation. And that goes to show, again, what deprivation does to you, what isolation does to you, uh, what this whole channel is about, really. When you take these two young kids and you realize how disconnected they are from everyday reality that seems extremely common to us, to people, to people who are lucky enough to live just a more or less normal life.
Abigail, don't touch that, please. I don't know what this was used for. Oh, it's used for gold. Never touch anything that's old.
I know this is one of Andrea's.
You are aware that if it was used for anything, it was 100 years ago, right? You know that, right? You're not worrying that there is some kind of organism living there still, some kind of I don't know, prisoner cooties walking around. What is this thing about scaring Abigail from touching things? Now, here's the thing about Abigail. She is far less sensitive than Raphael, and she actually tries to defy. So, if anything, it will move her or it would promote her to touch things. And what I find very interesting here is that even if we think about this logically, there is no logical explanation for this warning. There's just none. there's nothing still living for 100 years on anything in that room. And the trying to scare the child into not ever touching anything old. She says, you never touch anything old. What does that even mean? What is so horrible about something old? Do you only touch new stuff? What? Okay, so it's even if a child would try to understand or comprehend the meaning of this warning, you would be able to. But here's the thing about Abigail. Because she was brought up as the favorite, in my opinion, again, she has had a lot of fun with being the favorite. She is more spoiled. She does not get any serious boundaries laid down to her. So, by definition, she is more defiant and more capable of not obeying the rules and even going deliberately against them. And I'm sure those parents know what I'm talking about. So, really, every time you try to scare Abigail, the chances are that because of what I perceive as her defiant nature, she will actually do the exact opposite. So, this is not going to work well. And the last little nugget of fun I'm going to put up here is again a very short section. Just listen to what Andrea says.
Man, if that fell on you, it'd kill you.
It probably would kill you if it fell on you, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to fall. And I know what you're talking about, Andrea. I know exactly what you mean. This catastrophic way of thinking, this seeing disasters happening everywhere. I mentioned this before. Also, here in this case, they walk into a room, and what Andrea sees is, oh, she can see people falling over this. It's like never ending messages coming from certain places, areas of the brain saying, this is the horrible thing that can happen. This is the worst thing that can happen. But there is no ability to stop it coming out in front of the children. And they need protection from this. This is my opinion. Again, my opinion. So, before I finish here, and I am about to wrap this up, I want to say that I may be reading too much into these situations. I may be totally wrong about the way I perceive them. I may be coming from my own little world, seeing things differently than other people, and maybe I am completely off the chart of any reality check here. And if I am, then I apologize sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I do not mean to cause suffering to anyone. I have no ill will towards anyone. And all I want is happiness and health and mental health for everyone. And that's what I want to say. But I'm going to leave you with a few nuggets from Hadar, because Hadar, as usual, has his little moments of fun with Raphael, puts him down a bit, makes sure Raphael is wrong about anything and everything, or just has fun on his expense. So let's have a look at that shortly, and then we'll wrap it up. So Hadar walks into a room. He tells Raphael that Raphael is going to carry him with this wooden whatever it is. And Raphael looks a bit intimidated by this. He doesn't understand how is he going to carry his father on that. And his father tells him, yeah, put your hand here and the left hand there, and you're going to. And as you see, Raphael does not look amused, or he's kind of scared. And that is funny to his father. And another situation, Hadar calls Raphael, asks him what kind of saw is hanging there on the wall. There is a bunch of tools hanging there. Raphael says a certain saw. His father says, of course not, it's a cross saw. Now, Raphael says, yeah, but it didn't say that anywhere, so I couldn't know. And maybe I'm paranoid, maybe I'm wrong. I think Hadar knew that Raphael would not know that. But again, he has got this thing about making Raphael feel small and not knowledgeable, and to make him feel like he's stupid compared to his all knowing dad. That makes me angry. And then Hadar, there's a map, sort of like a mini map of the place. Hadar shows us where they are standing, and then calls Raphael, says, "Hey, where are we on this sort of map thing?" And Raphael tries, and of course Hadar's, no, we're not there. This is where we are." And then Raphael has to again justify himself not knowing. So this boy who is so full of knowledge and so full of um, interests and knows so much about so many things and so knowledgeable for his age, he always has to come across this feeling with his father that he does not know enough, that he's not good enough, that he's not smart enough. And to me, again, and here I apologize less because with Andrea, I feel maybe she cannot control some of her behaviors. But with Hadar, I believe he can. And he's choosing to behave this way.